Welcome. This is the weekly meeting for Calexit, the longest continuously running meeting of Calexit supporters, where you decide the issues. We have some interesting things to talk about, and we'll be right back. We were going to do the annual update today. We are still preparing to do the annual update. The annual update will be next week. Today, we're going to do an open forum and prepare some notes for the annual update. We'll be back in just a second. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Today is our open platform. So we are going to have an annual review next weekend. And this is our prep meeting for that. We'll have the rabbi here and everybody here. We already have some notes, but we wanted to get it a little bit more detailed. So Jason, let me go to you real quick. I'm going to go get a jacket because it's freezing here. Walk us through some stuff, Jason. I'll be right back.
Well, I mean, this was supposed to be the open forum part and not the update. Okay. So I'll go ahead and, as the head of Calexit, I'll kick out the open forum, or kick off. Sorry. I'll start it all off by saying, everyone, this one's for you, Rich. Todos Californios. Es para ti. We need to unite. We need to come together as one people, a Pacific people, and we need to save ourselves, get in our lifeboat that we legally have, the structure of which we here at Calexit have been spending the years to outline. We have our lifeboat. We need only climb in and cast off. We need to do this before it's too late. I've been saying that for a while, and unfortunately, it is coming close to the time where it will be too late. If we are going to do that, like sit around and wait and sit on our hands while everything burns down around us, or sinks from running into that massive iceberg that we saw coming long ago, well, we will only have ourselves to blame. As horrible as that is to have to say. So seriously, everyone, we need to come together. We need to make this work for ourselves, for those we love and cherish, for our future generations. With that, I kick off the microphone to questions and comments. This is now open platform. Any Californian or anyone non-Californian, if you wish to show your support. But any Californian is more than welcome to provide in the comments section, depending on how much we like your comments and your willingness to come onto the program. We may potentially even give you an invite. Oh, Yeshua. Hey, good to see you, brother.
All right.
Let's see, we've got comments here. Working. Okay. Well, Much love to you and yours, brother. Uh, if there are any questions, feel free to ask them. We can go over some of the legalities. We can go over, uh, well, I don't know if I really feel like going over the finite agricultural statistics right now, but we can go over most anything. Bueller. Well, to keep from having dead
So we were
air.
at an annual review meeting. That's going to be next week. We already prepped for it for this week, but we wanted to get some more details together to have a better meeting. And we also want to make sure the vice president was here. But it was going to review of the elections that placed Jason and myself as officers. It was going to be a review of all the accomplishments under Jason's leadership as CEO, all the things that we've pulled off. And it was going to be a review of our upcoming projects. So we got a lot of that prep together. We could kind of do a pretty good job today, but we wanted to do a really good job. And so that's why we're pushing it off to next week. So what Jason's saying is this, anybody have any comments on anything they want to talk about? This is your chance to say anything that goes into the annual update.
I do see another comment from Yeshu in here.
Just a second.
Are oligarchs losing grip on the world currency as of almost 2 years ago, and yet still doing nothing to unite us? Zero repentance. I agree, and that is why I love to say, Viva todos Californios, unidos Californios, because I want us all to come together. We are a Pacific people.
Yeah, so this what they're talking about is Russia and China just recently released a new gold-backed currency. And it was the first time that's happened. And so it's a potential rival to the US dollar. Let me show you real quick. Russia, China may be preparing new gold-backed currency, but experts choose US dollar. Maybe, but here's the thing: is they now have more gold than everybody together in this new thing. So gold is the traditional reserve of value for the last, well, since basically they created money up until literally today. Russia and China now have more gold reserves than everybody. They're creating a currency out of gold and other precious metals. By the way, certain precious metals that go into cell phones and laptops are now as valuable or more valuable than gold. So we're going back to metal-based rare metals and the currency. By the way, the place that produces most of the rare earth metals is a place called China. So you already have Russia and China with more gold than anybody else, and dominant control of precious metals, creating currency based upon precious metals. And they just got the BRIC countries to join them. So they had, let me see if I can find that. It's, sorry, the computer's not.
Yeah, in every way. I mean, so this rare earth metal production, right? And they need certain things for the electric cars that we all want to switch to. And so not producing enough of it and not having easy enough access to it ultimately slows down our markets and then detrimentalizes the markets, drives up the costs on, especially on the consumers, and ultimately it draws things out to the point where the things that are finally hitting the showroom floor are obsolete because the next model is close behind. that's just bad for business, right? Um, if you want your business of making electric cars out of rare earth metals, if you want it to succeed, then being friendly with others doesn't mean you have to live as they do. It just means you have to not be a jerk. Don't try to impose your ways on them. They probably won't try to impose their ways on you. And if they do, they're the ones being the jerk. And you just, buy and sell goods as friendly, like, other human beings. Sure, from another part of the world, but does that mean that we have to hate each other? And so, the rare earth metals has a really good modern example of it that I like. Um, but one of my favorite other ones is global hunger. That's a totally manufactured epidemic there. Like, it's only real, it only exists because we allow it to. We, as humanity, consciously decide, government to government, that, well, I don't like you, so I'm going to drive up the prices on this thing that you want and need. And, oh, you're driving up the prices on me on this thing that I want, so I'm going to drive up the prices on this other thing that you want. What was that saying? An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. It, this game of one-upmanship dominoes out of control really quickly. It's like a chain reaction. The one thing hits the other, which hits another, which hits another, until eventually the entire little structure you've made topples. And when that happens, a lot of people aren't going to really know what to do, but also, so it's going to lead to a number of different things, some of which is like mass hysteria and whatnot. People are always, at least in part, scared by the unknown and change. And some are liberated by it, but for the most part, it's going to be detrimental to society. But then what the people in power keep forgetting, it seems, is that they will lose their power. You can't govern the people if there is no government, or if there are no people. You shut things down enough and you drive up the prices enough, the people stop existing. And when that happens, who are you going to govern? Yourselves? It's going to quickly become a game of, oh, remember the good old days when we had people that we could step on to elevate ourselves up? Now we can't see over the hedge. But yeah, California only has to continually suffer through that because we're under the boot of the American federal government based on a treaty that was signed that gave America control of California, even though California was its own country and not under anyone's control, therefore couldn't legally be given to anyone else. The whole premise of the whole damn thing, it wouldn't hold up in a real court, especially not in international court. I can't sell you Jim's car. That's the classic example. It's Jim's car. I can't sell it to you. Sure, I can go steal the keys from Jim, I can even drive it from Jim's house over to your place and hop out and make it look like it was my car. I can take the money from you and hand you the keys. Does that make it so that you're protected in a court of law? No. Ultimately, when the cops catch you driving the car that was stolen from Jim's house, that Jim reported stolen because it's Jim's car, when they catch you, there is nothing you can say or do. You are driving in a stolen vehicle. And then you get charged with the crime. And sure, maybe I go down too because I sold you Jim's car. But that's what we're looking at. America is driving around in a car that Mexico sold them when it wasn't even Mexico's car. So ultimately, we just need to come together as a people, as Californians. We're on the Pacific continental plate, not the North American continental plate. We are Pacific people, not just because we're on the Pacific Ocean. So we need to come together and agree that we can run ourselves better than any outsiders who hate us would ever run things. We can do us. We got this. And then we need to just get in that lifeboat and cast off. No animosity towards America. Just a firm, clear statement that we are our own. We're not on this crazy ship with all of y'all.
That's basically what it comes down to. Yeah. So let's see. This has been pretty good. I know it's a little slow, but hey, we gave everybody the chance to make some comments. We want to make sure everybody had a chance to get their opinion into the annual review. And it looks like we're doing that. So we've taken a couple comments. That's pretty good. Again, we'll have the annual review next week when we have a better, when we're more prepared because we want to do a really good job. The annual review will cover the 10 to 13 accomplishments we've done under the leadership of Jason Wright. It will also cover the election that placed Jason and myself as the official leaders of the Calexit movement. And it will talk about future plans coming up, all that coming next week. Daniel, Jason, anybody else? Anything else? Anything else you want to cover? Just since we're here. You don't have to. Okay. Well, then
I would like to just put this out there that my heart is with everyone who was affected by the tragedy last night down in Los Angeles. That is horrific, and I pray for justice. And knowing that this current injustice system that we're all built on, reliant on, for our protection, no less, knowing how flawed it is, I feel that's all the more cause to pray harder. We need all the prayers for justice.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up. You're talking about a shooting?
Yeah, the Lunar New Year celebration down in Los Angeles area last night.
It used to be an island, matriarchal one. That's totally true. Let's see here. Lunar New Year's, California. Let's see what happened. Oh, God. Monterey Park. Oh, this is the Asian shooting. That's an Asian festival. 10 people killed. Gunman kills 10 near Lunar New Year Fest in California. Gunman killed 10 people at a ballroom dance studio amid Lunar New Year celebrations and probably tried but failed to target a second dance ballroom. Authorities said urgent search was underway in Los Angeles for San LA County. Sheriff Robert Luna said the shooting at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio in Monterey Park left 5 women and 5 men dead, wounded another 10 people. Then 20 to 30 minutes later, a man with a gun entered the Lili Ballroom in nearby Alhambra. The suspect was described as an Asian male. There he is, Los Angeles, fled the Midway Plum Squad surrounded a man. I think they caught him or something.
Oh, did they?
Or something.
As of just a couple hours ago, they were saying suspect at large.
Oh, okay, wow. Yeah, so this was an Asian man who went to a predominantly Asian city and then shot everybody up and tried to kill a bunch of people. I lived in Monterey Park when I was in Los Angeles. It's an Asian city. Monterey Park and it's near Garfield Avenue off the 10 freeway. Some of the best noodles. There's a place called Noodle Planet, and it has like 100 different types of noodles from every Asian country. Spent a lot of time on Garfield Drive in Monterey Park. I love Monterey Park. Beautiful place, beautiful people. Definitely an Asian city, and it's one of the things that inspired me to write the book about Calexit because you can go back 20 years ago, and Monterey was an Asian city, and it had the police chief, the mayor, everybody was Asian. It was a great example of the kind of diversity that you could have only in California. So I'm very sad to see this happen. I know Lunar New Year is big for, I think, particularly Chinese culture, but very sad. Asian man attacked a bunch of Asian people here in California. It's not a hate crime, I guess, unless he hates other Asians. It's probably going to be he's crazy. And, disturbed. I don't know.
The way I see it, whether it's a hate crime, an act of crazy, some sort of gang or drug, whatever, right? No matter what it is, it shows systemic failure. The fact that this exists in California shows systemic failure. We need to change for our own sake. And we cannot do it while continually laying down and letting the federal government keep us down and tell us what we can and cannot do. We need to change things for the better, and the only way we can get those changes through is by reasserting ourselves as a people and declaring our self-determination, our fundamental human right, inalienable, as laid out by the United Nations. This is what it's all about. It's why I keep bringing it back up, because everything is all another example of why we should do this and why we should do it before it's too late.
Apparently 30 minutes ago, they believe they found the white van, and there is currently, as I understand, a standoff with the man. He's in his van, but they've surrounded the van. They believe they found the van. They believe they found the guy. Apparently, he's just hanging out in the van at the moment. I did notice this to back up what you were saying. Law enforcement officer sourced on the matter said the gunman used a high-powered assault rifle. California was independent. We would not have any assault rifles here, period. So, let me post that. Gun bans is one of the biggest reasons I've been pushing for Calexit. So whenever we have gun regulations, they get struck down by federal Supreme Court or the circuit courts. That's famously happened. We've had 2 or 3 different gun regulations here in California that were struck down by the federal courts. And that was before they became super conservative. So it's even worse now. And apparently, I mean, I don't know, the information is just developing, but here's another shooting that would never happen if California was independent. The person had an automatic assault rifle that would never even be allowed here if we were independent. You know, we'd have more strict gun laws. So some people hate that. I think it's great because I don't think you need an assault rifle. Everyone in my family shoots. I've gone shooting. You don't need an assault rifle to fight back. It's for like if you just want to obliterate the hell out of everything. If you're looking for basic home defense, a 12 gauge shotgun with scatter shot shells will do just everything you need. It'll blow away everything, protect your house. Yet it's not an assault rifle and it doesn't lend itself to these kind of mass killings. So that's just me. Some of my people in my family have difference of opinion, but 12 gauge with scatter shot will wipe out anything. It's just not good at long distance. Perfect for home defense.
But
Yet
but
I don't see.
Marcus, what if I want that anti-aircraft missile system
I'm
in my
just saying.
backyard?
I'm just saying,
And
like,
and the M60, I believe it is, the Browning M60 that
right.
Rambo had, and gold plate, all the, the whole 9 yards. I need a couple grenade launchers too. I don't know
Well,
if
I
I
do
can feel
too.
safe without them.
I feel you because I don't feel safe every day when I walk around in my neighborhood and I think, man, if I had an RPG, maybe a couple Claymore mines, things would be different, but just part of living in modern day California, we have to trust each other.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not a gun expert, but from the little bit that we know, like shotguns do a great job for home defense. I mean, really good, almost better
and
than
and
anything.
not so good for, like, walking into movie theaters or schools or.
It's hard, yeah, because you have to shoot, pump, and then turn and shoot, pump. If somebody's coming into your house, there's limited hallways and doorways, and so it's great because it will cover the whole doorway. So it's great for home defense. It's just really hard to assault people with it, which is why
Yeah.
I'm all about shotguns. They're great for home defense, but they're barely ever used in gang shootings or mass shootings because they're big and they're unwieldy and you have a whole crowd. So I'm like, if we were in independent California, I think we would not have these issues anymore. We would have certain guns removed, other guns allowed for home defense, but I don't think we'd have assault weapons anymore. I think they'd be gone. And apparently that's how everyone died today. High-powered
Yeah.
assault rifle. That's what they're saying. Now, maybe that's wrong. This is initial reporting, but how many times have we seen people kill a bunch of Californians with a high-powered assault rifle? One of my favorite stories is the Gilroy shooter, who came from Nevada to kill Californians. I'm not exaggerating. That's what he said. He came from Nevada to the Gilroy Garlic Festival to kill Californians with a high-powered assault rifle. And he killed Californians. So this happens to us. We're hippies. We're peaceniks. And then somebody decides it's really cool to, shoot fish in a barrel because they can't fight back. That doesn't make you a man. Certainly not what a soldier would do. And so we have these issues. And if we were independent, I don't think we'd have assault rifles here. Of course, there would be a couple. Of course, the cartel. But basically, I think we could make it so damn hard it'd be like England. Or like if you...
Well, and we can't forget that, California still has her own military force. separate from what the United States has and what we provide to the United States. Um, I think that we maybe would have certain weaponry still, but it would be very closely monitored and regulated and kept just within special, you know, actual need type circumstances. Whereas, the current status of things is that yeah, pretty much anyone could go to a Walmart, depending on where they live, and get groceries, get kids' clothes, back to school stuff, and assault weapons and ammo, all in that one shopping trip. Um, this does not lend itself to a safe or reasonable society. Uh, Over in other parts of the world where, you know, only people who are actually murderers and such would ever go as far as say, I need guns. Um, wow. Uh,
Sorry.
and when people have disagreements, they're usually more careful about, do I really disagree with this person vehemently enough to have this shouting match? And if they do, usually it ends with like a fist fight, um, which I'm not promoting violence, but if the fist fight is where it ends, then, that's two people who disagree with each other duking it out, saying, I think you're dumb and wrong. Is it the smart man's way of doing things? No, but it's smarter man's way of doing things than the one who just says, no, we don't have a problem, have absolute zero control and concern, and let everyone have a Wild West time of things. There's a reason why we refer to it as the Wild West. Not only were you like really likely to die of dysentery, syphilis, cholera, any number of things really. Um, but you were likely, if you survived all of that, to be shot and killed by another person who was also just as likely to be shot and killed throughout some point in their life. So, what are our figures on, you know, the statistics on your likelihood for being shot and killed walking around in California? Well, depends on if there's a mass shooter with an assault rifle. It's that kind of a number. Whereas back in the day, everyone was like, hey, toss a coin. Walking outside, going to the saloon, going to the barber, I could get shot at any time. Anyone I love or know could be shot at any time. That's the Wild West. That's what it would really have been like living there. So, do we want to let it go back to the Wild West? I think not. I think ultimately being smart about things, we don't need to eliminate guns altogether. We don't need to really eliminate anything other than maybe for-profit systems such as, the prison system and the whole private super sponsor medical industry that kind of decides, like, Pfizer decides basically who's going to be the next senator from wherever, and Bayer chooses the state representatives from this other state. And it's like corporate sellout live or something. But yeah, get rid of all of those broken systems and constructs and come together as an independent people and rebuild it and build it right. California's already got a higher gun population than human population, and that's just the ones that are known of. So, I joke about the anti-aircraft missile system, but I would not be all that surprised if someone was to tell me, hey, so and so back home in the Sierra Nevada mountains or whatever, or out by Yosemite, or heck, even some parts of Northern California, Jefferson area. Um, wouldn't surprise me if somebody had some sort of anti-aircraft something, or people on the coast had anti-naval emplacements that they kept up. Uh, it would not surprise me at all because I know California well. And we're not anti-gun. We are very much for sane and reasonable gun control.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
like everybody's like, oh, Californians don't have guns. We have guns.
Yeah. The plan for the coast to secede from U.S. on Live Talk Radio. I'm talking to Jefferson Movement to back this. Great idea. Okay. Clovis Archer, I'm just seeing your comment there. Yeah,
Hold on, before you say anything, that's Lewis's idea he's talking about.
Oh.
So I'm going to inform him that's not Calexit idea. It's from a guy under active federal investigation who does not. So let me point this out to you. I've been wanting to do this. So Clovis Archer, thank you. Heard of the plan from the coast to succeed from U.S. and Live Talk Radio. I'm talking Jefferson Movement to back this great idea. That's not Calexit's plan at all. Nobody in Calexit supports splitting up California. I mean, we don't normally talk about them, but even the California National Party doesn't. Even the CFC. Nobody in any Calexit organization supports splitting up California at all. Why? Because Californians don't support splitting up California. So this has been tried before with Tim Draper's plan to split California into 3 and 6 states. The PPIC, Public Policy Institute of California, did a poll each time. And it showed 67 and 75% of Californians dead set against splitting up California. So nobody in Calexit backs up splitting California because we love California. Nobody in the different groups, nobody in Calexit would ever propose that. And nobody in California seriously takes this plan seriously at all because we don't back that. So I understand that might sound great for Jefferson, but the majority of people here don't back it. Lots of evidence, and never in a million years would anybody in Calexit did it. You're talking to a guy who is currently under active investigation for being a Russian spy. So I get it. He hacked our social media channels. So that idea to split up CA, which no one in CA or Calexit would ever back, comes from a guy who is not in CA and under active FBI investigation. There you go. That's from me. So that idea to split up California, which no one in California or Calexit would ever back. This is just kind of ignorant to even think. This is what I mean. This is really dumb for people to think that anybody in Calexit would even say this. It goes against everything we've said for years. Never has there been anyone in Calexit since we got big in 2016 ever talking about splitting up California. Never happened. No one on this site's into that. No one in California is into that idea. The guy who's proposing that doesn't even live in California and is under active FBI investigation for being a Russian spy. Why is that someone worth listening to? So let me go over the whole thing. Hey, I heard about this great idea from Calexit to split California up into a liberal, coastal, independent state, and then leave the rest of interior California as new California conservative. We're dead set against that. I live in the Central Valley. I have been dead set against joining New California ever because you guys like Trump and you're racist. Again, nobody in Calexit would ever say that. Nobody in California would ever back that up. 22 counties on the coast will succeed from Cali in the U.S. That's what I heard. Great idea. I support. Jefferson can help. I don't know why people on the radio are talking about an idea that comes from a guy who is not in California, has disavowed the movement, and is under active FBI investigation for being a Russian spy. Let me write that down. What radio station is covering a guy who doesn't live in CA and is under active FBI investigation for being a Russian spy? So I would think that you would get yourself in trouble with the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, the Justice Department, the Public Policy Institute of California, the California Radio Industry Standards Commission for hosting somebody who's under active federal investigation for being a Russian spy at the time that issues between Russia and America are really intense. If you could tell us what radio station that is, please, because the FBI would like to know. No, I'm not joking. No, I am not joking. Active FBI investigation for being a Russian spy. If that radio station covered him, the FBI will want to know who did that, and they will want to contact those people in the radio station. So could you please tell us that name, Clovis Archer? What radio station did that? Federal authorities want to know. It's not a game.
Well, so now that we've covered that, let's move on from that, please.
Okay.
It is now part of the record. We know.
Okay. Just wanted to make it clear.
I had to sneeze real quick.
Yeah, because this is the second conservative station that's said they're covering that idea, and I'm like, you guys, that's not us. And what's really sad is they think people in California are going to back that idea, and like they're actually talking to people who are in the movement. And they're not. It's just really sad.
Yeah, and ultimately, people who see California's power and potential are the ones who want California broken apart. They see how big and how influential we are, and they don't like that. And so they think that we are too big for their britches and should therefore split apart and become multiple different things.
Yeah. Yeah. Why?
And they are also, well, and here's the why. They are also the ones who would stand to benefit from said action occurring.
Right. Then they get to be a governor of their new rump state.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we break off and I lead the revolution to break off from those crazy liberals, I got to be governor of this new conservative state. Call me the Californian Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. That makes sense because I know the New California thing is led by this guy called Paul Preston, and he's all about promoting his name. Like, if you have anything to do with New California, it's all about him.
Well, you know, some people are just in it for fame. Some people get into politics for fame. Some do it for fortune. Some continue to do it and make, you know, new bogus movements to grift people so that they can continue to evade federal authorities by living in the lap of luxury in awesome places like Chile and Argentina.
Sorry, I had to do that by law.
I'm just saying, I mean, that's what this next grift that he's been doing is about. That's what they're all about. He can't stay in Russia because it's going to cause him trouble with his passport because he's under federal investigation. So he has to keep country hopping. He is country hopping on your donated dollars. Just saying. So if you really want California gone and want California's influence gone, and you live in a red state, there are majority red states now, once again. So if you wish to see us gone and you live in a red state, bug your elected officials at every level. Make it known how much you want them to vote California out of the union. And keep applying that pressure until they do it. Once they voted us out of the union, that's it. You don't have to deal with us anymore. I mean, there's the legal paperwork for the divorce and whatnot, but ultimately, our country will be our country, the California Republic, right? She will just be her own again. And America can go back to being the United States of America rather than the United States of California. And, because obviously y'all don't like it so much. And hey, that's part of freedom. That's part of true freedom and freedom within a democracy. Y'all don't like the way that we do things as the United States of California. I know you like to think it's the United States of America, but it's the United States of California. We are the largest single population demographic of, state or territory. So, Californians are roughly 12%. That is larger than any other state by a good long shot, too. So, if you don't want the influence of our 40 million people, you no longer want the United States of California, but rather want to go back to being the United States of America. I completely understand that, and I'm right there with you, except I don't want to go to being United States of America. I just want to be, just the California Republic, maybe the nation of Pacifica, which is, independent and unified California, both Baja and California as we know it today. Oregon as its own territory, be it the Cascadian, the Pacific Northwest, however Oregon and Washington decide, Hawaii, and even Alaska. We're all Pacific people. And so we really could form our own nation as independent entities and work together as the nation of Pacifica. That's what Pacifica is all about. That's not the thing that a certain paid troll has been pushing. But yeah, I really I like to remind people that California is the unlimited spending card for the United States Federal Reserve. It is the unlimited spending card for the United States military. It is the unlimited spending card for the United States' food waste and energy waste. It is the unlimited spending card for everything, both good and bad, that the United States does. It's not really that beneficial for the United States to let us go. But there is the side effect that they will go back to being America rather than California. So,
That's
y'all
well
could,
put.
y'all would at least get that.
You can go back to being America instead of California.
Yeah, right now, as it stands, especially as acknowledged by many, many American, it's the United States of California. We are influencing all of the other states heavily enough that they're crying out. That means this is all California, not America. From sea to shining sea, it's a big CA.
You can go back to being America instead of California if you Calexit. I love that. I think that's brilliant. Okay, Jason, take us out. We'll have the annual review meeting next week. As you saw, there's an idea to have California be split into a liberal coastal state and an interior conservative state. Nobody in Calexit backs that, and nobody in Calexit, California does either. I kind of love conservatives actually meeting the real Calexit people and then being told, I don't know who the hell told you that, but it's such a dumb idea. It would never fly here. So getting corrected misinformation. Loving it. Jason, take us out. Last 5 minutes. What would you like people to say? What do they need to remember? What ideas and thoughts do they need to have in their head that they simply cannot get rid of for the next week because your words were so Shakespearean and dynamic? Jason Wright, Calexit CEO.
I just want everyone to remember what it is about California that we each love so much. What is it about California that when you wake up in the morning, you think about it and you're happy? What is it about California that you cherish most? Be it a child or a place, Yosemite, or, I don't know, Isabel. What is it about California that you want to protect and safeguard? If that thing is something that you love enough, you'll go ahead and make the hard stand. Whether you're rich and famous or, and you just don't want to openly say you're for Calexit because you don't want to risk losing your support or, having stocks go down, whatever it is, right? Making the choice to safeguard and protect the money and possessions and all of that over the thing that you love is, well, it's a bit psychotic, really. It's also, it's a very easily regrettable decision, especially when things have changed and you've stood against it or failed to come out because, well, clearly The thing you claim to love, you didn't really love so much because you weren't out there in the forefront standing up when it was hard to stand up. You only took a stance once you knew for a fact that it was safe to do so. Well, the legal precedent has been out there for a long time. It's not new information. We've completely changed the narrative from you can't do that, it's unconstitutional, to okay, but tell me why we should. That has happened because the information is so widely available and we have made it very abundantly clear. Myriad examples throughout myriad years. So, whoever you are, if you identify as a Californian, wherever you are, we need to unite and we need to get this done. Because ultimately, we're either going to be stuck with people who blame their actions on others and refuse to take responsibility, or we will be stuck with the product of our society, which brings about the ultimate consequence of our actions. We can choose to Calexit. We can get in our lifeboat as a people and we can cast off and we can get away from this burning, sinking ship of death and horror. Or we can stay aboard if that's what we want, if that's what we choose. I would say that's pretty psychotic to choose that, to say staying on a ship that's not only sinking but also on fire and in heavily shark infested waters, no less. Sure, the sharks are happy, but the people on the boat not so much. And to choose to say, hey, you know what, that's more fun than doing the hard work to launch this lifeboat and get it away to safety. Well, I would say that's psychotic behavior. That is a psychotic decision. That is not rational. If there's something you love, picture it right now, something or someone, and hold it dear. Because tomorrow is not a guarantee. Our continued recognized right to be able to do this legally and peacefully may not always be a guarantee. We need to do this while we can. Y sí, se puede. Viva todos Californios. Viva Unida California.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, am I on mute? Hold on. No, I'm not on mute. Okay. Well, thanks, Jason. I really appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. With that, I'll take us out. Please check us tomorrow at 1:30. Monday, 1:30, interview with lawyer about TNM brief. So tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have an interview with a lawyer who can practice in 12 states, including Texas and California, about the amicus curiae brief that we're working on with the Texas Nationalist Movement. We invite everybody to join us again tomorrow. That's tomorrow at 1:30 in the afternoon, live here, yes, California. And we will give you professional legal interpretation about the ongoing dispute between the Texas Nationalist Party, Texas Nationalist Movement, and Meta, also known as Facebook, in the first ever lawsuit supporting or challenging the famed Texas law to control social media companies from discriminating against conservative viewpoints. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll take it from there.
I'd like to say to Clovis Archer, anyone who's really a true Niners fan would know that the game's not till 3:30.
Yeah. Clovis Archer, 1 second. Well, I just got to do this real quick.
Oh, Daniel and I, we're going to butt heads on that one. I know. And, hey, to Daniel and to all of our friends over at TNM, let me just say, may the best gold mining based team win. I mean, may the best team win. They just will more than likely happen to be dressed in maroon and gold. But yeah, I hope it's at least an exciting one. And it should be, because both teams are actually doing fairly well for themselves, especially my beloved 49ers, my hometown 49ers, no less.
So I just want to point out, Archer, here is the podcast or 8-part documentary by Warner Brothers Music that points out that Lewis is out. He trashed Calexit and he's under current FBI investigation. So here you go. There's the link. It's also called Interval Presents. Let me show you that so you can find this real quick.
Also important to note that Lewis led them to believe that he was in the United States when he was being interviewed by them. And if you check his Facebook and the whole last couple of years, he has not been in the United States. He has been actively evading FBI interrogation.
8-part series by Warner Brothers Music and Apple Podcasts concludes that we're the legitimate Calexit. Lewis is under FBI investigation for being a Russian spy. He also quit the movement and he trashed the movement, and nobody wants to have anything to do with him in the movement. So, Archer, if we're getting it wrong and you're confused, then how did Warner Brothers Music and Apple Podcast also get it wrong and completely back up our story and not Lewis's? How did that happen? Right? If
Also,
he said, she said, how did a major production company completely back up our story? How'd that happen?
If you can, Marcus, can you put up Rich's comment there about Shuteska? Because I wholeheartedly agree.
I'm Rich. He's trying to take over that. This isn't a forum for that. K Viva.
No, at 208, all the way down to the bottom, a +++ commentary on the voice of the podcast. That guy should be a pro. I wholeheartedly agree, Rich. I really hope if Shuteska or any producers from Warner Brothers, I believe it's Warner Brothers Music that ultimately owns that whole thing.
Yeah.
Bring this man into the fold. Shuteska is someone that you want to prop up and help out and give him all of the stepping stones he needs. He can go far. Also seems like a decent dude. So, you'll probably avoid a bunch of scandal. No Weinstein's going on there,
Yeah. So please check out the documentary. It was awesome. Let me show you that one more time. Rich is right. Very rich voice by Shuteska. who's got his claim to fame was that he spoke at the United Nations as a little boy about climate change and its effect on the indigenous. He's part of the Mexican or Latin American indigenous, not even like Latino like myself, like he's Nazcahuatl. Okay, this is the documentary, 8 points, and it points out that, that guy left, trashed us, under investigation. Nobody wants anything to do with him. And that's just me, not just me. They interviewed other people. So if we're getting it wrong, how come the mainstream media completely backs us up in detail? Unless you're being lied to. I'm sorry you got trolled. I apologize. But, there's not a lot we can do. We've done everything we can to advise you guys. There's just a limited amount of things we can do. But we're still here. We're never going away. And we are the people on the right side. And eventually, people see through lies. They just do. I've lived to see that many times in my life. Okay, Jason, any other comments, or can I close up the show, sir?
No, go ahead and close it.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Please join us tomorrow, 1:30. Awesome discussion about amicus curiae and the Texas nationalist movement lawsuit with Facebook, where Facebook made the mistake of saying that talking about secession is unconstitutional because Texas versus White says there's no possible way to secede. I'm going to leave it there because if you've watched our show, you know that's garbage. So I'll leave it there. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. But first...